Okay, that's your cue.
Therapy.
Wait, let me get my the script. What's up, everyone? It's Sarah.
Ahona.
The show.
Alex.
And welcome to Aromatherapy Podcast. The topic for this week is what I like to call potpourri, or others might call mish-mash. We just all have our own segments that are kind of unrelated, and we'll see what we can try to come up with a way to relate them at the end. So to start off this week, what is everyone burning?
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, my heater's on, so I'm burning
Yourself.
electricity. Oh, myself.
Yep.
Yep.
Like the dust in your apartment, you're burning.
Yeah.
I'm burning this sage. Look, oh, you can't see the smoke. Then you can
I
kind
can
of
see
see
it.
it.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
And then I'm burning this fennel and pine crackling wood stick candle.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Lots going on.
She's got 2 cents going on. You okay? Your nostrils aren't overwhelmed.
It's a lot, actually.
She's cleansing her space.
Didn't you say the sage smells like weed?
Yes, it does.
So that, what's the other one called?
Fennel and pine.
So weed, fennel, and pine.
It's a good combination, believe it or not.
Yeah, nothing beats the smell of weed.
Right.
Plus fennel, plus pine. It sounds like, I feel like it would smell like
in a negative way.
a stoner cabin in the woods.
Yeah, but in like a warm and inviting and like pleasant atmosphere.
Yeah, I didn't mean like
Yeah,
a,
like that
a
you
horror
kind of-
cabin.
You just kind of drift into like a nice sleep.
Right. I feel relaxed. I feel like, never mind. I feel relaxed.
Like you just take a little puff of a J. You just
No, I don't smoke, so I didn't want to promote that as a part of my narrative.
I will.
Okay.
Be careful with your lungs. Switch to edibles for the time being. We're in a pandemic that attacks the lungs.
That's true.
There you go.
Wait, have people switched to edibles? Like
I have no idea.
Oh.
I don't think so.
I did.
There is
Also-
a big like ramp up of dispensaries in Chicago, so I feel like people are probably switching to like all the different options out there
The
offering now.
teas. I actually had a CBD like sparkling water that was really nice.
That's
Oh.
There's like 6 mgs of CBD and 2 of THC.
I don't know what the scale of that means.
I don't really know how to explain it.
Okay, that's fine. Like, is that a serving?
5 mgs is like usually a standard like starter dose.
Oh, okay.
Mig.
Mig, that's okay. Also, what in chemistry, that's what we called milligram. Like
Call them migs.
mgs. Yeah. Like we would be like, okay, weigh out 110 mgs of this material.
Oh
Is that do people? Well, do you just say milligram?
I mean, I don't find myself saying milligram that often, but when I do say the whole entire word.
Well, I was gonna say, like at work, like a lot of the times medicines are dosed per kilogram of body weight. So it's like 90 mgs per kg.
Stop it.
I love
They're
it.
silly.
So
Just
it
how
definitely
it's
sounds weird unless you say it a bunch. Like it does. They're
Yeah,
weird.
it didn't even occur to me that it was like a weird thing to have said. It was like migs.
Okay, all I know is that well, first of all, I don't really smoke weed or ingest it very often because my tolerance is like horrible. And part of the reason is like five mgs is supposed to be the standard, like low dose. But I that's how you can tell. I did 5 mgs. And I was like, I think I started like hallucinating a little bit. So it just I think it interacts with my ADHD medicine a little bit. So
Yeah,
that's
it might.
more than anything. But I was with my younger sister. I was like, Taylor, I don't think this is like the intended effect. So anyways, I am burning a basil scented candle, and it's from that like Myers cleaning cleaning chemical company. Yeah, I ordered some groceries, and then this was like an option, so I ordered this with it. It's not great. I
Like
don't
it smells like basil or just smells like wax?
I don't
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it smells like basil a little bit. I don't know if that's what you want out of a candle.
Basil kind of hits.
Fresh
Fresh basil? That kind
No,
of
I like the smell of basil. I like it.
I
Well,
feel like if they pulled it off well, it could be nice.
maybe it's me. It's not you, it's me.
I'm burning dragon's blood incense. I don't know how to describe what it smells like.
Dragon's blood.
Yes. If you smell dragon's blood, that's what it
Many a
smells like.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Who wants to talk about their potpourri item first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay.
Just put
Okay.
a little beat of like leave it silent for a second and then start talking, and then it's easier to cut into it.
Okay. Here is my topic. My topic is in a world, okay, I'm just gonna talk for a little bit. In a world without restriction, and like it's your ideal world, but not ideal in like, oh, I have $1 billion, just like ideally where you would want to see yourself. So I guess there's restriction, there's normal restriction, but there's not like you accomplish your goals essentially is what I'm saying. Like what do you see with that? And also tagged on to that, if you could learn anything without restriction, this is without restriction, what would that be? And also make sure you include what your environment would look like and how that would affect you. The environment being your home or your area, your community, blah, 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 blah. So take it away.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. When you say learn, like learn anything, like you can learn literally anything in this
Yeah.
world.
Literally anything. Language, hobby, sport, history.
Well, okay, I'll touch on your first question. So a while ago, I was on FaceTime with a couple of friends, and one friend said that her friend had this book of like 300 questions. It's called like, we Googled it, I mean, she couldn't remember the name, but it's called like 300 interesting questions or something like that. And so one of the questions we talked about was if you could open, or if you could have any dream business, what would it be? Which isn't exactly your question, but I think I can build from it. And I said that I would do a late night bakery / crossword den that has a floor that is in like it's also a bar, but not like a bar. It's like a late night bakery bar, you know?
Oh.
And that it's like in like a brick loft space, but it's like super modern. It's like all glass walls on one side. And the reason, and I felt validated in that hypothetical dream because like 2 weeks later, somebody texted me that he had a dream that I had done exactly that.
Ooh.
Down to the design, down to the window design.
Wait, this is someone you told about it, or
No,
separate? Oh,
no,
Wait, that's so crazy.
it isn't it. So that's not manifestation, or a sign. I don't know what it is. But in general, the dream is like the dream activity for your first, or the dream whatever for your first question is just like a space that's like comforting and safe and relaxing, where people like not like a snuggling space, because I don't want that happening in my business.
Whoa, what do you have against snuggling?
what's
You
up?
can snuggle, just maybe don't like group snuggle.
What's
I mean,
wrong with group snuggle?
You can group snuggle, I guess it's fine. But I'm not going to advertise my place as a snuggling place.
You won't have beds.
Right, exactly. But
You
anyway,
have blankets and pillows, right?
yeah. I mean, not like comforters and pillows,
But
but
like
like
nice like snuggling throws.
yeah, snuggle. Well, I can't call it snuggling throws because then that invites snuggling.
Right.
There's no snuggling allowed in Ahona's dream.
No, not in my dream or in my real life.
What's on the menu?
Well, I'm imagining like pastries and bread, but it could be like savory things. I don't really want it to be like super sweet. I would err on the side of like savory pastry types in breads, and
Can I
not
make a request?
Yeah.
Can you have pan chocolat or whatever they call it?
Yeah, like
Great.
yeah.
That's my only request.
Actually, we once made chocolate croissants. Because they're basically chocolate croissants, right? Like
Yeah, I don't. I try.
I'm not gonna butcher the name. We made them once and they were so good. We inhaled them straight because they're so good fresh. So yeah, I'll have a little tray of pan chocolates.
Oh my God.
For you.
Where would you have this bakery?
I feel like it's too bad there's not a place in this world that's like, I mean, I'm sure there is a place in the world that's like the woods and a hip small city combined. You know, because if my thing could be on like the outskirts of town facing the mountains, but it's not like out in the middle of nowhere.
I feel like Colorado's your best bet.
Oh,
Like, isn't that kind of like where you live?
Yeah.
yeah.
Portland, isn't that? Or is it
No,
not?
Portland is a little bit.
I guess I could do Portland.
You could do
I mean,
like a place near Portland.
Or
Yeah.
what's the city in Vermont?
Mm,
Nothing.
Montpelier? I don't know. What's the capital? Is it?
Like isn't it Montpelier is the capital of Vermont?
Why are all of these places so white though?
That's fair.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it does sound, I like Seattle would be a good place. Or imagine me in like, I mean, realistically, I'm not gonna, I mean, this isn't reality. So imagine in like a European in Rome, maybe like Greece.
The Italian countryside?
Well, I was gonna say that, but then I was like, there's no way that is a small city.
They have like little villages, little towns.
Maybe, but I'm not trying to live in like a village. I don't think that's.
Little towns.
I don't think
You
it's.
could do New Paltz would be great. It's not a city. It is New Paltz, the town, but it's like it's more hip and like cool community based and artsy. At least it was the like how many 7 years since I've been there, but like that kind of fits, and then you're not that far from the actual New York City if that's something you're into, and then you're right at the base of a mountain.
Yeah.
Or mountains. So.
Yeah. Well, actually, that like the Pacific Northwest actually fits the vibe probably pretty well.
Yeah.
So.
Only if you make it just as long as you have your vegan, gluten-free options, then.
I can do that. That's fine.
It's kind of. I feel like that'd be kind of fun to like figure those out and make them taste good.
And
Well,
also,
I don't know.
What?
Gluten-free, I don't get that, but
Well,
some people have celiac disease.
I understand, but
we don't get it. I mean, we can, we understand it, but we don't get it.
okay, no shade.
Well, gluten isn't anything like any wheat products, right?
Yeah, that's what it's really hard. I feel like using other flours is
Gluten-free flour.
Yeah.
really
Gluten-free cake.
okay.
Yeah, I
I
have
make things with like rice flour, almond flour. Those are not glutinous flours, right?
Tapioca. I don't think that would make a good pastry.
Yeah, I don't know that make a good Oh, I could make macaroons are gluten-free, right? They're not
I
vegan.
have no idea.
Yeah, they use almond flour.
Yeah. But I mean, they're not vegan because of the egg whites, but
Use a substitute.
I
don't
think
know
I've
how
answered
finicky they are.
what?
I don't know how finicky they are if like using an egg substitute is like detrimental.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe by that time, the world veganism will have advanced, or non-eggism will have advanced.
It has. There's such good options.
For egg whites?
I think so.
Baking? Oh, okay.
I believe so.
I feel like veganism has advanced to everywhere except good. You can have vegan desserts, but it's hard, I feel like, to make a traditional baked good vegan and still have the same like
Yeah.
baked good that you were wanting, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like the reason I have like eggs in my kitchen right now and milk is because I was gonna make like a French toast muffin, which I don't really know how to do. Like I don't want to do that with like oat or almond milk.
Yeah, soy milk is like pretty good.
What if that gives me too much estrogen?
Okay.
Well, the other thing,
I don't know. If you get too much estrogen from your muffins, it's not a good thing for sure.
I have never tasted soy milk and liked it.
Okay.
What about oat milk?
I like oat milk.
I like oat milk too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the problem with vegan baking also is I feel like it requires a lot of experimentation.
yeah.
And when I'm on like a Sunday morning, like, oh, I want to make whatever, I don't have time to have something go wrong if I put oat milk in it.
But this is your ideal world.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, at that point, I'll be testing everything and running my own bakery, so it's fine, whatever. I'll be perfect then. I'm just talking about me right now in this reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay, I'm gonna now talk about my ideal situation, if that's okay. Okay, in this ideal world, there's a lot less shit going on. Like the world is not on fire, and there aren't people dying for no reason. So I get to do something selfish and just go around and take pictures of the world and of people. And am I missing part of the question? Do I have to like invent something, a space for
No, you don't have to. Well, I mean, this is interesting. Like by ideal, I mean your real ideal. So like, would you really want to do that? If so, then that's great. Or are you thinking this is something I want to do, and I also want to be a doctor in my ideal world?
Oh,
Like real
ideal.
Yeah, like what would you like to do if you could?
Well, okay. I mean, it's not like totally unreasonable. Like I would love to go and take like video and pictures and travel. And I'm probably still like, I'm sure that's going to be a part of my life in some way, but not in like a big measurable way.
It can be.
It can be. It's hard when it seems like there's so many, like it's more, I guess the way I was talking about it was more of like something like in such a big part of like as like a driving force in my life rather than like a hobby. And it's probably more so gonna just feel like a hobby. I don't know. I love to capture people's stories, and I like to edit film, and it's just like it's so interesting like how people change the way that they talk when they're behind camera. I mean, maybe I'm not answering this question correctly, but I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, so what does that look like ideally, like within the context of my life? It probably means like doing some kind of like documentary on some like health related topic and like interviewing people and like hearing their stories, and I don't know, maybe it's about like a certain disease or something that's affected people, or about like I don't know, some kind of something that connects people in a certain space.
Yeah.
What or die. I mean, I guess that's what all documentaries are about. But I did a documentary my senior year and I really liked it. So it'd be nice to like try and incorporate that in my life in a tangible way. Like when I'm older, I just, it's hard because, you know, I feel like I am lacking creativity sometimes now.
Like
Yeah.
in your life, you mean.
And time.
Like in your life.
In my life, Emma, you're
Like
saying?
you are not lacking creativity. You're lacking creative.
Oh, yeah, sure, that's true. It's not like
I mean, you are still the creative person you were. You're just.
I'm just tired. Yeah.
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 So I guess whatever ideal world I have the capacity to like express my creativeness in an uninhibited way. Like I can actually learn how to play the guitar. That is like.
You mean how this one that I haven't actually learned?
Yeah,
since
you
you got it?
This is a better view. There we go.
When are both of you gonna play for the podcast? We have to set a time and then
Oh, you wanna?
I can play one song, 4 chords, one song, and that's it. That's all I got.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Ahona had a much better thought out answer. I really appreciated it. I kind of went on the fly, but
No,
I can apply.
that's
When-
okay.
when you think about this documentary and when you're visualizing your dream, does this include like a whole like stage and like you're gonna like there's an opening show for it, or is it only in your dream?
oh wow.
Are you just like thinking about the actual process of making it and like what that would give?
Ooh, you know, that's so
A
interesting.
premiere, a documentary premiere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's so interesting because I feel like I usually, when I have dreams of things that I want to accomplish, I so think about, I mean, I don't, this isn't my favorite quality of myself, but I so think about like potential praise at times. Like, but I actually, when I think, yeah, well, thanks. But I actually, when I think about this, I really just think about the process and enjoying like making it, which probably to the like me actually, I just really like, I really love the process of filmmaking more so than like, yeah, I don't really think about, I don't know. I don't think that I don't think that it wouldn't be to like make it famous. It would be just out of pure enjoyment of making it.
But can we have a premiere anyway?
We can have a premiere, yeah, sure.
Okay.
We can have it at your bakery.
Oh,
And then my bakery will have a gallery attached to it, and there'll be a workshop in the back. Oh, I'm gonna make fresh pasta in the bakery.
beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
There has to be a workshop in the back for all my other crafts.
Oh my God, there has to be live music too.
Yes.
I love live music, okay?
And now is when Alex and I are gonna play.
That is something I feel like I'm really like missing so much in this quarantine. Like I just feel so moved by live music in such a real way.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like I know other people feel this way, but I don't know. It feels like it's almost like an emotional experience. It feels like very necessary. So maybe that can be in our dream too.
Hey, yeah. It can be just an ever expanding like warehouse floor. And then I just own a whole building of separate things that are all you just like walk in and out. It's like set up like a museum, but so it's like all interconnected rooms. Perfect. Love it. Love how it's developed. Thank you. There'll be a movie theater in it.
Oh wow, this is
It sounds
getting.
like it's becoming like a compound rather than
Yeah,
just like a shop.
It's an old warehouse.
There'll be apartments in it. People never leave.
You can live there if you want.
Yes.
And build a commune, I guess.
Everyone has to pay you.
I don't know. I don't want to be a landlord.
Everything is free. Everything is free.
Everything is free, but they have to work to pay.
Yes.
No.
Like a co-op.
Like a co-op.
I don't think me running a co-op is I don't think that's for me.
I would have said that's not a part of her dream.
No, it's not.
Sarah, what's up with? Come on, what's your?
Well, my dream actually, I feel like that it's semi-related in that, like, if I could do anything with my life, what I would do is just like have this big place where like queer kids who have been kicked out of their homes or who've run away can stay, and then we'd have like teachers and therapists, and like there would just be like a community where like a bunch of like people who feel like they've been kicked out can feel supported. Yeah, that would be my dream.
You can do that in this life.
Yeah, I just don't know how to pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you get investors. It's not like you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
You tell people your idea and people will support you.
People listening to the podcast, be my investor.
Or if you get into like a small to medium town that has like a real community where people are actually engaged, like there can be some sort of funding that is created for something like that, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'll think about it. I think my goal right now is just to become a therapist and then hopefully do like I don't know what the term is. I think this is exclusively a legal term, but like pro bono work or like volunteer work, just like with children. Yeah. I started trading for the Trevor Project, and some of the statistics on like queer youth and suicide, it's just really sad.
Yeah.
That's my ideal. Hopefully that I will manifest into this future.
I hope you do too.
I also want to live in the woods. That's also part of it.
Any
You
woods?
wanted to be in the woods?
I want to live in a cabin in the woods. Like my compound for all of like this community will be like in a foresty area, and then I will have a cabin nearby where I live.
Good. Great.
And I want a garden. I want an herb garden. I want to grow my own food.
This is nice.
Oh,
What
wow.
else? What else?
What?
What else?
Um,
Keep going.
well, if I could learn anything, I would learn a bunch of languages.
Nice.
I would learn a lot of instruments.
yeah.
I would watch a lot of movies. Ooh, we could have movie nights. I love movie nights. I just watched The Handmaiden today. Loved that. Yeah, I don't know. And I would order a chocolate croissant from Ahona's Bakery every day.
Oh.
I mean, if we really make my dream a literal compound, you and your kids can just be in the compound.
Me and my kids.
You and the kids.
The kids.
You and our kids can just be in the compound.
The homies.
Oh my gosh. I can make my documentary about them.
Yeah. Aw.
Make them famous. We give them good lives. No, well.
I don't know if being
I don't think they would get famous.
Let me rephrase that. We bring attention to the cause to give them better lives without
they get more funding to help more kids.
Right. Not like make them celebrities as children and put them in the spotlight. Not that.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Having one supportive person can like risk of suicide, I think, and self-harm drop significantly, just having one supportive person in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll be that for the kids.
Nice.
Or you.
That's a good dream.
We'll cap it. We'll make it like a 25, like up to 25.
Oh,
Years old?
Yes.
Oh, I was like 25 children.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, oh,
We gotta cut it off.
it's like I think we could probably help more than 25 children, but okay.
Know your capacity.
The ideal.
I actually really want to foster, I don't know, it would be really nice to foster children in like not in a way that makes them feel like they had a safe place to be. Like they don't have to stay with me forever, obviously, if they don't want to or whatever. But like I think want to foster kids, especially older kids, I think.
Me
Like
too.
babies, you know, I mean, not that babies don't go through horrible things, but
Mhm.
difficult teenagers are definitely looked down upon. So I don't know. That's probably something I think I can do in this life for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I can do the other thing too, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's the nice thing that I was like, I'll do that in my 40s because like I'll have enough time to like hopefully afford to have children. Who knows with the
Yeah.
world we live in, but
Yeah.
that I could adopt or foster like older kids in my 40s.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't have to be like tired.
Yeah. I've definitely thought about having like a big motivation for, I don't want to say like making money, but like being successful is being able to like do things with the like beyond like just my means of living. The point is to then like do things with the extraness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like I feel like, I mean, you have to have time, energy, some level of finances to be able to foster older kids, a lot of like big groups of kids.
Yeah.
So I don't know, there's a lot like, life has to be built. Like I think you have to plan a little bit. You can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also don't know a lot about it, but
Yeah, kids are expensive.
But they're a little bit cheaper if you adopt them when they're already like 15 or foster them when they're 15. A little bit, not because
yeah,
it's like a lifetime commitment, but
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it would be nice to be a person who makes people feel safe, and especially children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's
And
beautiful.
we'll see.
you guys are making me feel like I need to go back on my original
Yours
plan.
is a good
beautiful, Alex. You want to just communicate with people through art. Like that is equally as important.
and making people feel heard makes them feel listened to and safe also.
You want to share people's stories. That's so important.
Representation is very important. Exposing people to new ideas and perspectives.
Wow. Thanks, guys. That.
Michelle, what about you?
Yeah. Me. What about me? I am gonna parrot a lot of the aspects that you guys have already said. I also ideally would want to run some sort of cafe eventually. I think it's a beautiful idea to kind of make things from scratch, like in general, and then the idea of being able to support myself on that. And I love cooking. I think that would be cool. I spent a lot of times in cafes or little areas that serve coffee that also are like spaces where people come and like do open mics, or they come and like study or read together, or they come just to like listen to live music and stuff like that. Like having a place like you guys have mentioned where people can come and relax and like see their family or friends that they consider family and all that in one place is like such a nice idea to me. So that's what I would go for. And then I think also owning my own business. So like I like am not reporting or giving myself to something that I think is worthless and not worth my time, energy, and like life source. I think it's very important to me. And I think if I don't end up doing something like that, it's gonna really drain my soul. So that's also a motivation, like what can I do for myself and support myself with? Where I would be, that's really hard. I mean, ideally it would be in a place with more nature, and ideally it'd be in a community that's like large enough that it's not boring, but like small enough where like I know people well. I think I really want that. So like if customers come in, like I would like to have like a rapport with them, or I don't know. I want it to be
You want usuals.
Your regulars.
regulars and usuals, and like maybe one day they're so regular that they come behind the counter and pour themselves a coffee, like me. Yeah, I think that would be cool. And yeah, I'm also a big lover of live music as well. Like before the pandemic, I was going to a concert like once a week almost. Like any small concert or like an actual large concert in Chicago. So being able to like, especially small bands that like it's really hard for them to get gigs and get exposure and get people coming in. Like I think it would be really cool to like support local and small bands like that. Yeah. What else? What else did I want to say? What would I learn? Okay, this is kind of this is a little bit more fantasy, but ideally, I would like be able to go back to school and continuously learn either math or physics or continue to do computer science or philosophy, because I get real enjoyment out of studying that stuff. I do not get that much enjoyment out of the idea of finding a job in those areas.
Yeah.
That's fair.
If I could just like do math and like learn how to do math, I think that'd be super fun.
Yeah.
Proofs are really fun. I think math is a lot of fun.
It's so cool.
And
All
interesting.
of that stuff is really cool and interesting and important. So being able to know more in those fields would be really cool to me.
I feel like that's the biggest crime of education is that it places so much pressure on like learning something for an end goal that
Yeah.
like we just don't learn anything for the sake. Like I think that's why I'm so obsessed with like DIY stuff, because it's like I learn things just because I wanted to know them. Like I don't need to know half the things that I know how to like make with my hands or whatever, like that I have knowledge of, but it's just like things that I want to know and I want to know how to do, and it's just I don't know, just knowledge or like learning, and it's I feel like stripped of us in school.
Yeah, I think the education system strips away the joy of learning.
Yeah, I just want to read or learn without extra pressure surrounding that.
Yeah.
Grades, worst thing to happen.
Yeah.
What? Oh,
Just-
great. I said raves, and I was like, I don't know.
The way personal opinion, can't back it up with fact, but our school system is just like from the industrial era, and it's outdated and doesn't
Like
work.
everything is aimed towards a job and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like to create the same people.
Yeah.
Like creativity isn't encouraged. The way that we like instruction, like they talked about it in Mind with like instruction can like impede creativity and like exploration.
Yeah.
It's like when you are taught how to do something, you won't explore it, so you won't explore like different ways of doing things.
Right.
And I think part of that is because it's like you're so focused on a goal of getting like an A in a class so that you can do well to go to a good college, to get a good job.
Right.
Like,
yeah, one of my cousins, and like in this way, I aspire to be like someone like it. One of my cousins, he just knows, like, he reads so much about so many different things, and he's like always absorbing information, and he always has something to say about, like, you could ask him about anything and he would probably know at least something about it, because he's like always learning little bits of information about everything and something, and it's a very inspiring thing to be around. And he is an extraordinarily interesting person to spend time with, because you're like, okay, we could talk about quite literally anything. So yeah.
That's
right. Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think that in however this life turns out, I think my goal, it reminded me when you were talking about like wanting regulars and usuals, that like I want to be the person, which maybe it's self-centered, which is probably true, but I want to be the person who, in whatever community or situation, is the person that everyone is like, oh, Ahona, like I can go to Ahona. Like say that I'm like a mom with kids and I want all of my kids' friends to be able to be like, oh, whatever my kids' names are, mom is like someone I can go to and I can trust and I can talk to her. Or like if it's like in my cafe, like, oh, Ahona will always help me if I go to her, you know. That's the kind of person that I want to be in whatever situation.
You are that kind of person. already.
I also don't think that's selfish.
What?
I don't think that's selfish.
No, it sounded, I mean, it's probably not. It just sounded weird to be like, I want to be the person that everybody comes to.
Well, you just want.
No, even when you said it in that way, it didn't sound selfish.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's like
Help
parts
people.
of a lot of people that want to like be a safe space or like to create
Yeah.
a safe, like there's something very nice about helping people and feeling like you're helping people in, I don't know, definable ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It makes you feel good when you feel like you're having a positive, when you feel like you're changing someone's life in any kind of way, whether it be like big or small. Yeah. It's nice. Yeah.
Oh, great question, Michelle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my segment took a very large amount of time.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
A large amount. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we can maybe I can save, you know, a little bit of my my stand-up for next time.
How much did you prepare?
You know?
How many minutes do you have?
Let's
Wait, what?
No, I say, okay, having had a preview of what Sarah's going to say, Sarah's thing is, you're going to talk about Stevie Nicks and
Lindsey Buckingham.
yeah, so Sarah's is a wild story, and there's a lot there. So I think
Then let's do that, see where we are, and then we can tune in next time for the best humor of your life.
And then you'll have the whole podcast since you kind of got cheated for that.
Yeah.
you
what
can
if-
have half of it because realistically, I was going to talk about muffin tin foods. So we don't have to talk about muffin tins today if we don't want.
Like different shapes.
No, like
The same shape but different foods. Muffin tin foods.
Is that muffin tin foods?
sort of. Well, okay. So the problem is that in my kitchen, in my fridge right now, there's specific ingredients for literally 2 different dishes, both of which have to be made in muffin tins. And I did go specifically buy a muffin tin today with those 2 things in mind. So that's literally all I've been thinking about for like 3 days.
I think I know where you're going. Like you can do like the little frittata eggs. You can do a baked good. You can throw some veggies in there if you want. You can.
Yeah. Anyways, I didn't really have like anywhere to go with my muffin tins. I was just gonna bring them up.
I'm sorry.
So anyway, Sarah can talk about.
Yeah, tell us about who was it? Someone Buckingham, someone Nicks.
It's about Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, who were 2 members of Fleetwood Mac. If you're not familiar, they're a band. They have really good music. Definitely check them out, especially the album Rumors, which I will talk about. But basically, the reason that I've kind of done a deep dive lately into both Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks, and specifically Lindsey Buckingham, is because I saw a TikTok, which I sent to Ahona, which is like she knows about it, which is just like, in 1997, they did like a reunion tour called The Dance, and there's a song that they sing called Silver Springs, which Stevie Nicks wrote about Lindsey Buckingham, and she's like looking at him, and they're looking at each other. It's I don't know how to explain, but it's like they are the great loves of each other's lives, even if they're not together.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's actually really, yeah.
It's like kind of tragic, but also romantic at the same time. But
Wait, are they dead?
no, no.
Okay.
This was a bad way of
You
doing it.
were alive. Okay,
Is
start
it
from the
song?
beginning.
I'm gonna start over. We can cut that.
No, we'll leave it in. We're
When
leaving it in.
it's raining.
Dreams. Yep, that also is
the
about
one?
Lindsey Buckingham. That's Fleetwood
That's a
Mac.
different one though.
Yes, Silver Strings is different. I'll read some lyrics later, but so basically Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham met in high school when Lindsey Buckingham was singing at like a party or something. Also, if I get anything wrong, I'm sorry. You feel free to send in the corrections, listeners. But they met at a party. He was singing California Dreaming. She kind of like hopped in and started harmonizing with him. And then they went their separate ways. And like a couple years later, he was looking for a female singer to kind of be a part of his band. And he ran into her and he was like, oh yeah, like you have a great voice. Be in the band. And then eventually that band dissolved and they became Buckingham Nicks, and they released an album in 1973. Also very good album. I like it. But they started dating, I think maybe in like 1969. And so they dated, they lived together. They were like trying to make it in like the music world. They weren't doing that well. Like she wrote a lot, like they've written a lot of songs about each other. And then in like 1975, they joined Fleetwood Mac, which was like this British band that had kind of started as like a jazz band almost. And they had asked Lindsey Buckingham to join, and he was like, I'm not going to join unless you also take Stevie Nicks. So they took both of them, and then they became like huge. But then like the next year, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham break up. And then they revolve around each other for the next like 40 years. So that's the premise behind the album Rumors, was that a lot of the songs are like Stevie Nicks writing about her breakup with Lindsey Buckingham and Lindsey Buckingham writing about his breakup with Stevie Nicks. And also there are other two members who were married and then got divorced. So the whole album is just like everyone had a breakup. And so they're singing about these songs, but like you're singing a song that your ex wrote about you.
Wait, so the other couple was, the other two members of the band were married to each other?
There were 5 members. Mick Fleetwood, who's just this really, really tall drummer. And then he's really tall. He's like really tall.
Mick Fleetwood, the namesake for Fleetwood Mac?
Yes.
His only attribute is that he's a tall drummer?
I mean, he's like a musician.
I just think it's funny that like Fleetwood Mac was named after Nick Fleetwood.
Yeah, because he was one of the
Not even
founding
the star of
members
the
of the
show.
band. He was, I think, the founding member who remained. I think everyone else left, unless John McVie was a founding member, but I don't think he was. Anyway.
I didn't even know. Okay, first of all, I'll preface this by saying I don't know that much about these people, but I've heard the name Stevie Nicks before, and I did not know that they were in Fleetwood Mac.
Yes. Because she, I think, is the most successful outside Fleetwood Mac, because she had a lot of successful albums on her own.
Yeah.
But so the song Go Your Own Way is a Lindsey Buckingham wrote about Stevie Nicks. I'm going to read some of the lyrics.
And this was released when?
What?
This was released when?
This was released with Rumors. It was like the lead single from that album, and it was like after they'd broken up. Most of Lindsey Buckingham's songs are angry, and then most of Stevie Nicks' songs are like angry and sad, like melodic and stuff. They're both good, but like some of the lines, it's like, if I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I when you won't take it from me? Packing up, shacking up's all you want to do, which apparently Stevie Nicks hated that line in particular because she then apparently had a brief relationship with Mick Fleetwood, the drummer, like after either during the breakup. I don't know the timeline. I don't know if they were together while they were breaking up, before, after, but he wrote that line about that, so she hated it. And she hated apparently singing it in concert. The song Dreams is the one that Stevie Nicks wrote about Lindsey Buckingham.
It's so good.
It's really good. Let me see if I can find it.
I just can't believe how upfront they were about all of their personal trauma and drama.
It's like one of the lyrics in Dreams is, "It's only me who wants to wrap around your dreams and have you any dreams you'd like to sell. Dreams of loneliness like a heartbeat drives you mad in the stillness of remembering what you had, what you lost, what you had, what you lost."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my favorite is the one that I watched is Silver Springs, which was supposed to be released with Rumors, or that's what Stevie Nicks wanted, but they didn't release it. They released it as like the B-side to Go Your Own Way, which feels even particularly cruel because that's the song that Lindsey Buckingham wrote about her, where he's really angry. He also wrote the song called Secondhand News, where he's basically like, hey, I'll be here if you want, like later, like I'll be like backup or whatever, like if it doesn't work out.
Oh my God.
But Silver Springs, wow.
It sounds like Lindsay's like, here I am waiting for you, and
but angry.
Well, the kicker isn't did you say Lindsey Buckingham is like full blown married with children now?
Yes. So
and they're still like this?
Well, so this was all written around Rumors, but yes, like their feud is ongoing. Like so Lindsey Buckingham left the band in the 80s. And apparently like he seems, from my impression and like talking to my dad, he seems like he's kind of like an asshole, just like angry, like kind of tempestuous, like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I think like the rest of the band also had some issues with him, but apparently like there was a meeting they had and like it went really poorly, and apparently it ended with like a physical altercation between Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks.
Oh, wow.
And then he left the band the next day. And then Stevie Nicks left in 1991, in part because she wanted to release the song Silver Springs, and Mick Fleetwood didn't want to do that. So she was like, I hate this. Because she really loved Silver Springs. And it was about Lindsey Buckingham. And I'm just going to read a couple of lyrics from that.
Have they announced that all these songs are about each other, or is it just like somehow public knowledge?
You know it. I think part of it is like, and like they've talked about it. They're very open about that. So the chorus of Silver Springs is, time cast a spell on you, but you won't forget me. Well, I know I could have loved you, but you would not let me. It goes, I follow you down until the sound of my voice will haunt you. You'll never get away from the sound of the woman that loved you. Was I just a fool? And it's like, time cast a spell on you, but you won't forget me. Yeah, I already read that. But basically she's like, you will never forget me, which is true. He never has. But apparently in 1998, so they performed while hating each other. Like apparently they didn't really talk a lot. They definitely I think had on and off relationship throughout the 70s, personally, but no way to tell for sure. And then apparently in 1993 was like the first time they performed again at Bill Clinton's inauguration, and they performed the song Don't Stop because he used it as like his campaign song. And apparently like Lindsey Buckingham walked away immediately after, like he didn't talk to Stevie Nicks. Like it had been like 10 years, like years, he was still pissed.
Yeah.
And then they got back together in 1997 to do that tour where she looks at him and they're looking at each other and you're like, wow, they clearly are not over it. And she said that it wasn't until 1998 when he had his first child that she really knew that like they weren't going to end up together, like romantically.
Which is like 25 years after they first started their whole saga?
23 years, no,
1970.
I kind of hate that though, like.
No. Okay,
It's
right?
like
It sounds like you're
22
destroying
years.
everybody around them.
Yeah.
And then he wrote a song in 2003 called like Say Goodbye, which is about her. Like part of it is like that they have been circling around each other for like 20, 30, 40 years now. Like even when they perform, like sometimes they'll get really close to each other. Like there's so much tension in their performances sometimes. It's like, oh my God.
Okay, but like, I'm not gonna speak on his marriage, but if my significant other was on stage with their ex of basically 40 years, or the person, I would be at some point, I'd be like, you have got to stop writing music about, like, this is not, you're not over this, and if that's true, then I've got to go.
Well, there was like a line, like Lindsey Buckingham did an interview where he talked about like, because Stevie Nicks had said like that they would always have this like crazy electric attraction, and that there would always be that like spark between them. That like it would never go away, and I don't think it ever has. But like that because of that, like they're just, I think it's just so much. Like it was very intense, and they didn't work, and I think they're just so, I don't know.
It feels like somebody in their lives should have been like, we need to separate you.
Well, that was so, well, Stevie Nicks had said that she thought it was like almost more romantic, their story, because they didn't end up together, because it was like the fact that they had this huge connection. I think like truly they are the loves of the big
It's
love.
romantic in the sense of like, you know, like the genre romantic. It's not like actually romantic.
Well, she thought it was like romantic because it's kind of tragic in a way. Like she thought it made it more romantic that it was like this tragic love
Are
story.
they happy? Where's the romance?
Yeah, this story was sad.
So I think part of it is that he is married, he has kids. Apparently he's like really like that she was like, yeah, this is really good for him. Like he feels like more settled and stuff. And like, I think he really loves his family. And she has like a really big family, like in terms of nieces and nephews. And she said like she actively chose to not have kids of her own because she wanted to focus on her career. And so she was like, I like being like the crazy kooky aunt more anyway. Like she also has people that she really cares about. Like I think they're both happy in their own way. But also in 2018, they were gonna prepare for like a tour. They were gonna go on a tour, and they were gonna start rehearsing. And Lindsey Buckingham wanted to push it back a year, and the band didn't want that. And then apparently Stevie Nicks, they were performing and they sang Rhiannon as the first song, and he blew up about that apparently because he thought it was like not the way that they should have started. And Stevie Nicks said that he was smirking when she was giving like a speech and she felt really disrespected. And so then she was like, okay, either I leave or he does, like the band. So he got ousted out of the band.
Hey, is the band, I'm confused.
They're still together and touring. They broke up and they got back together.
Okay. So these aren't like not reunion tours, but like, you know how sometimes bands will come back like 10 years later and do like a quick tour and then, but they're not actually like making new music or like really.
I actually don't know.
So
I know
like,
that
like you'll never tour with us again in 10 years.
He sued them. He sued them for like ousting him from the band. And then they had a like settlement agreement. Their most recent album was apparently in 2003.
Okay.
So mostly they just do touring.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then Lindsey Buckingham had like open heart surgery in 2019, like emergency open heart surgery. And apparently like everyone in the band wrote him a letter, and then he wrote a letter back to them all as like a whole. But that's the last time they've spoken.
I mean,
Why?
So she described it as a divorce. She was like, my dad, who apparently had always really liked Lindsey Buckingham, was like, maybe it's time for a divorce, because they'd been living together and dating for like 6 years. They only like dated for like 6 years, and they lived together for 6 years. But she was like, it was like a marriage, and they just, yeah. I'll send you guys a TikTok.
Very exhausting. I think that's really the main word. It just sounds exhausting for them and everybody in their orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like they're like the great loves of each other's lives, clearly, but it's not like a love story that ends happily.
Yeah, it feels kind of like a curse almost.
Yeah, that I want them to be happy. It doesn't sound like.
I think they are happy.
Well, happiness means different things, right? Like I wish that everything went well and that they could be that they didn't feel this like such like conflict in their hearts, and
Well, they must have an enormous sense of yearning for each other. Like,
I mean,
even
like,
what could have been or something. Maybe they got caught up on that didn't work out.
I think part of it, me speaking and not knowing like any of the stories.
No,
Like
I
me
mean,
just
the three of us are even more.
I was like Fleetwood Mac.
but I think
Who's that?
are they better alive?
they just like don't necessarily match as people. Like I think in terms of temperament and like what they need out of like relationships and stuff. But I think it's like they care so much about each other and have such strong feelings, but it's just like it's never worked out per se.
I feel like
I get that. Yeah.
it's those. Remember that movie Age of Adeline with what's her name, Blake Lively?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody
Harrison
else?
Ford, Michael Huisman.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Yeah.
Which is not, the plot's not important. It's basically, my point here is that, like, spoiler alert, Blake Lively is like accidentally turned immortal in this one accident, like in the 1920s or something, I don't know. And so over the next like 100 years or whatever, 1960s, so over the next like 40 or 50 years, whenever she like meets a guy, she doesn't like stick around because she leaves. So in the movie, Harrison Ford's younger version, her like really madly fell in love, and they were like super in love and everything, but she was immortal, so she left him.
Yeah.
And later in the movie, they reunite with Harrison Ford as his like old self and her still as her immortal self, and immortal self. And there's this whole vibe of like he loves his current, like Harrison Ford loves his wife and everything, but there's just a sense of like wistfulness because it was like that first one great love. My point here is that that's a very like common trope, right? Where like people are happy in their lives, but still miss the like intensity of that first love or whatever it was about it. And I feel like probably what would happen here had they not like spent the rest of their lives being like at a certain point I feel like you have to leave. Like that's so torturous. Like if you know you're not gonna work out, but you know it was that intense, and I don't know, it's just this like.
Well, I think part of it also is like that they broke up and then their fight, like it was at like the height of their fame, like that their success in the career that they wanted was intimately tied to each other. Like everyone in the band, which I think is why it's so interesting, because it's like none of them wanted to leave the band because it was like, well, this is how I'm making music and it is being heard and I'm touring.
This is a part of me, like in such a real way.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, I would say it's tragic. I don't know if I would say it's romantic, but.
I mean, I think it's romantic how you were saying it's romantic, like right. Shakespeare.
I think it's like there's something about knowing that people have such a strong connection.
Yeah.
I think there's something like romantic about that, where you kind of romanticize this really intense, passionate connection that just inspires so many feelings in you. Yeah. So I think it's like romantic in the sense where like it's definitely tragic. Like I'm not like, wow, this is a great love story. Like I want this. But it's like I feel like I don't actually know many people who have stories like that.
Yeah.
Like it's just in movies and stuff, but it's never like you can follow this person. And also just that I think it's just they're uniquely positioned such that like they broke up within the public eye and have then since like been feuding on and off for the last 40 years.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like I think you would never find it in real life other than them, because people depart, like people leave each other, right? Because you can't be in that situation. Like there's a reason that you had to leave such an intense situation. You have to leave, you have to get away from it, so you never see it in real life, I feel like. Because it's not like I'm not saying they're unstable, but it's not like a stable situation, right? So you have to get out.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Well, look at that. We made it back to love anyway.
Yeah, well that's why initially I was like, oh, I'll talk about it because it's related to love.
Yeah.
But also I just did a deep dive and I was like, wow, I need to read everything about these people.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. Thank you for sharing that. I feel a little bit smarter when it comes to the personal lives of Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham.
Well, Stevie Nicks is gonna, she was in American Horror Story.
Oh, what season?
Coven.
Okay.
And she is gonna do something, I think. She's like I think a lot of people have like cited her as like an influence. And she's toured, I think, with Harry Styles and like wants to make a TV show based on one of her songs, Rhiannon, which is like inspired by this Celtic or Welsh story and goddess. And like she wants Harry Styles to be in it.
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like she's like still pretty relevant in the modern day.
Her and Cindy Lauper. I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
We should do an episode on conspiracy theories.
Ooh. That'd be cool.
We should deep dive into something. I think it'd be too much to do 4 separate. We can see.
We'll do a 4-part series, and each episode we'll talk about one.
That might be really intense.
Is Tupac on an island somewhere?
Oh,
yeah.
That's the end. Yes. And that was the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was my segment. I'll post a link to the top 10 songs that they wrote about each other, so you can all hear it.
Ooh.
And by all,
we'll post it on all our social medias.
What?
We'll post it on our social medias.
Yes.
That could work.
Yeah.
So how long has it been?
I don't want to talk about muffins anymore, so.
Yeah, it's 10:30, so maybe we just wrap it up.
Wrap up. Okay. Have banter while I find the script.
We could also just cut this.
What? No, banter.
Banter.
Banter. I don't have anything. What should I have? That's not banter. I was gonna ask what I should have for dinner. Muffin tin foods. What should I make in my muffin tin for dinner?
Frittata.
I don't want.
Oh, do like some kind of like warm fruit with like a buttery crumble.
Not for dinner.
Why not?
I want something savory. The only reason I say no to frittata is because I bought eggs for the first time in like a really long time, and because I try to eat generally vegan, and I was eating eggs, or I was making eggs recently, and the smell of eggs really got to me.
Whoa.
They smell so eggy.
What is the smell of eggs?
It's just so eggy. And I literally slathered them in Taco Bell hot sauce because I couldn't handle them. So I can't eat a frittata probably.
Okay, fair enough.
So
you had to smother it in Taco Bell.
Yep.
Hot sauce.
So
wait, have you guys ever had duck eggs before?
No.
Okay. So there's a farmer's market at the end of my block, and they sell duck eggs. And it's like, imagine a regular egg, except the yolk is maybe 2 times bigger, and it's like extra thick. Okay.
The yolk?
The yolk.
Oh.
The yolk. It's like, I know you guys are like, that sounds gross.
Yes.
Not gross per se, it's not my speed. You know?
Okay, I'm looking at your faces. That's exactly what your face has been telling me. You're giving me gross.
Yeah,
But no, but it's so good. It's very tasty.
Really? Oh, okay.
If I find duck eggs anytime
Does
soon.
it taste anything like chicken eggs?
Those are just regular eggs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They're just like a little bit, I think it has like maybe like a heightened flavor. Like they're just
Okay, so definitely maybe I'll reintroduce eggs to my diet and then I'll try the duck egg.
it's
Egg flavor?
the consistency is really, it's just thicker. It's like when you, oh my God, it's just like when you cook the perfect egg and it's like just a little runny, but it's not like liquidy, you know, it's like, it's just got that thick.
It's called a jammy egg. Yeah.
But it's always like that, and it's just like.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I have this like fried chili oil that has little peanuts in it. That shit hits, by the way, and it's fantastic.
Thanks.
Oh,
Banter.
This has been Aromatherapy Podcast. I am your host, Michelle. I should sit up.
I'm Ahona.
Sarah.
I'm Alex.
If you want to follow us on social media, it's going to be Aromatherapy Podcast on Spotify, Facebook, Apple Podcasts. We're also on Anchor. I think it's Aromatherapy as well on Anchor.
Yeah, I think Anchor is just what distributes it to the different services.
Okay. And then on Instagram, it's Aromatherapy Pod, I believe.
Yeah.
And we're posting on there weekly, all of them, all of the things. So.
And on YouTube, we're on YouTube.
Oh yeah, we're also on YouTube. You can just search up Aromatherapy Podcast. I'm pretty sure our channel comes up. Cool. Well, thanks guys for listening to this miscellaneous episode.
Potpourri.
Potpourri.
Good night.
We're gonna end on a chorus of Potpourri.